Success abroad means nothing if you can't trust those at home. The cold London wind had never felt as bitter as the day Chibuzo stood before the police officers, his reputation crumbling like old bread. He was known as London Money Man back home, the first son who made it abroad, the one who sent pound sterling that made relatives dance at village meetings. His wife Clara managed everything, the bills, the transfers, the family matters. He trusted her completely, perhaps too completely. When Clara gave account access to an associate promising a small business opportunity, she thought she was helping their family grow. Instead, the small business turned out to be fraud. Within days, officers traced illegal transactions straight back to Chibuzo's account. His lawyer worked miracles to keep him from prison, but the damage was permanent. Their names were stained with disgrace. Both husband and wife were deported back to Nigeria with nothing, no savings, no dignity, just shame wrapped in airplane tickets. Chibuzo returned home expecting the house he'd funded with years of remittances. His younger brother Dozie scratched his head nervously. "Brother, you came back too early. I used the money to start a business. Once profits come, I'll build a house." Years of London pounds had vanished into an imaginary enterprise. The once proud family man found himself renting a single room in number 90 Yuba Street, a notorious face me I face you compound where privacy was a luxury and quarrels were daily entertainment. Life at number 90 was chaos wrapped in corrugated iron sheets. Thin walls meant everyone had everything. If Clara sneezed, 5 neighbors chorused, "Bless you." Their daughter Dora, who once had her own bedroom in London, now shared cramped space with her parents and cockroaches that marched like military battalions. The compound's landlady called frequent meetings to address fights over soap water, wandering chickens entering cooking pots, and accusations of wives staring too long at other women's husbands. This was their new reality, from London luxury to Nigerian struggle. The purest love often attracts the darkest jealousy. In the midst of poverty and disappointment, one beautiful thing remained, the bond between Chibuzo and his daughter Dora. At just 11 years old, Dora loved her father with an intensity that amazed neighbors. If Chibuzo fell asleep on their wooden chair outside, Dora would tiptoe quietly, kiss his forehead like a devoted partner, and cover him with a wrapper. When his shirt was dirty, her small hands would struggle with the bucket, soaking and washing it herself. Everywhere Chibuzo went, Dora followed like a shadow. To the farm, to the market, even when he just stepped out to buy groundnuts. Neighbors began calling her "Daddy's girl," and the name stuck like superglue. If Dora didn't see her father for even one day, tears would flow as if someone had stolen her bicycle. She'd refuse food, sit quietly with a long face, and no amount of coaxing could cheer her up. Clara initially felt happy watching her daughter and husband so close. She understood that in their difficult circumstances, they needed each other. But seeds of doubt were being planted by an unlikely gardener, Mama Inki, the compound gossip. Inki had eyes like CCTV cameras, always watching, always analyzing. She knew who quarreled, who cooked soup without fish, and who owed the tailor. She pretended to sweep corridors while secretly listening to private conversations. When Inki observed Dora climbing her father's lap, sitting with him at the well, asking endless questions about Nigerian culture, she began to suspect a nonsense. In her twisted mind, she'd already written 10 chapters of scandalous gossip. But Inki was professional. She knew that to spread this poison effectively, she first needed to become Clara's trusted friend. So she began her campaign, sweet greetings, compliments about Clara's appearance, offers of sisterly advice. The trap was being set. A whispered lie can be louder than a shouted truth. The poison began one evening when Clara was cooking soup. The aroma of ogbono and stockfish filled the corridor as she stirred the pot. "Dora, go bring me seasoning cubes from the bag," she called out. Dora nodded and rushed out, but on her way, she spotted her father heading to the well with a bucket. Her eyes lit up like Christmas lights. "Daddy, let me help you," she shouted, completely forgetting her mother's errand. As Dora pulled the rope with tiny hands, she looked up at Chibuzo. "Daddy, tell me about Nigerian culture. Why do people eat with their hands? Why do they pound yam until sweat comes out?" Meanwhile, Clara's soup was boiling dangerously, threatening to escape the pot. She wiped her face and shouted louder, "Dora, But her daughter's voice was lost in laughter at the well done. That's when Inki entered like a referee at a boxing match. Standing at the kitchen door with hands on hips, she announced loudly, "Clara, why are you shouting? Your daughter is not missing. She's outside playing love wife with her father." Clara turned sharply, mouth open. "What did you just say?" Inki folded her arms dramatically. "I said your daughter left your errand and is now at the well holding her father's bucket as if she's a second wife. Every day, every time, this girl follows him everywhere. If care is not taken, people will start talking." Clara dropped her spoon, face burning red. Inki raised an eyebrow like a professional troublemaker. "Me? No, I'm only observing. You know I care about you. If you like, ignore me. A word is enough for the wise. You better open your eyes and stop acting like a fool." That was how Inki planted the first real seed of suspicion in Clara's heart, and she was ready to water it with gossip until it grew into a tree of chaos. The compound's most dangerous weapon wasn't a knife or gun, it was a tongue skilled in manipulation. When jealousy blooms, love withers. Clara began to change. The more she watched Dora and Chibuzo together, the more something bitter grew inside her chest like a thorny plant. At first, she tried to ignore it, pushing the thoughts away like unwanted visitors. But soon she found herself hating her own daughter. If Dora laughed too loudly with her father, Clara's face would tighten. If Dora followed him to the gate, Clara's blood would boil like pepper soup. If Dora forgot to greet her on time, Clara's hand would land on her back like thunder. Any small mistake Dora made resulted in severe beatings. The little girl cried almost every day, not understanding why her sweet mother had transformed into a soldier. The only time Clara felt she had her husband to herself was during their intimate moments at night. But as soon as they finished, Chibuzo would turn around and sleep like a log of wood. By morning, Dora would take over again, holding his hand, giggling, asking 1,000 questions. Clara felt invisible, like a ghost in her own marriage. One afternoon, while sitting outside stewing in her anger, she saw Inki passing by. Inki pretended she just came to greet, but her eyes were shining like a flashlight searching for drama. Clara sighed deeply. "My sister, I don't know what is happening to me anymore." Inki sat down quickly like a doctor ready for a patient. "Talk to me, my sister. I am your friend. Remove everything from your chest." Clara opened up like a burst dam. She told Inki the whole story, the deportation from London, how all their money disappeared, and now how her daughter had taken over her husband's love completely. Inki shook her head with great seriousness. "I knew it. I knew that girl is your enemy. She doesn't love you. She only loves your husband. You see children that are like that. They are very, very dangerous. If you don't control her now, she will finish you." Clara's eyes grew wide. "You mean Dora is my enemy?" Inki leaned forward. "Yes. That girl is your rival. You think she's innocent. Watch her carefully. Every time she smiles at your husband, it is not ordinary. Let me advise you, deal with her before she deals with you." Desperation makes us deaf to wisdom. That evening after dinner, Clara decided it was time to bring her new idea to Chibuzo. The night was peaceful, the moon shining bright, frogs croaking somewhere near the gutter. The compound was quiet except for one baby crying in the next room. Clara took a deep breath, wiped her hands on her wrapper, and approached her husband, who was sitting on a plastic chair, pressing a small radio like it was a smartphone. "Honey, can we talk?" Clara smiled sweetly. Chibuzo looked up, surprised. "Of course, my dear, what is it?" Clara launched into her pitch. "There's this business that is very lucrative here in Nigeria. I've been thinking about it seriously. I want to start selling phones, London used phones. It's a new big thing now. Everybody is buying them. Inki told me if we start now, we'll become rich again and we can even move out of this compound." Chibuzo blinked twice. "London what?" Clara continued enthusiastically. "Yes. London used phones. Inki told me if we start now." Chibuzo cut her off. "Clara, not again. Why is it that every time you have an idea, that woman's name is inside it?" Clara tried not to show frustration. "It's not what you think." She just gave me the idea and I believe it will help us. I can't keep staying here doing nothing. I want to assist you too. Chibuzo sighed deeply. Clara, business is not a joke. You don't even know where to buy the phones. You don't know how to check if they are original or fake, and you want me to call my friends in London. What will I tell them? Please, let's forget about that. But Clara was persistent. I just want us to start now. Life has been hard since we came back. I want us to bounce back. Chibuzo's voice became firm. Clara, sometimes the best way to bounce back is to sit still and think, not to rush into anything. You have forgotten what happened in London because of rushing. I almost went to prison because of your mistake. That woman is not your friend. She's a gossip. She only tells people what they want to hear. Clara's face fell instantly. So you don't believe in me. Every time I bring an idea, you just say no. Maybe if Dora suggested it, you would have agreed. Chibuzo rubbed his forehead. Clara, don't start again. Don't bring Dora into this. But Clara was already boiling. You think I don't see it? You love that girl more than you love me. You trust her more than you trust me. Even if she burns food, you will laugh. But when I talk, you frown. With that, she stormed into the room, slamming the door so hard the light bulb shook. The mixture of anger, jealousy, and disappointment filled her like a boiling pot ready to explode. Hope arrives when we least expect it. Days passed after the big argument about the London-used phones. Clara stopped talking to her husband, dropping his food like someone delivering a parcel to a stranger. Even Dora noticed the change. But something else started happening. Dora began falling sick often. Sometimes she'd wake up weak with tears in her eyes, saying she didn't want to eat. They took her to the hospital, and after several tests, doctors said she was fine physically but emotionally down. She's missing something or someone. She needs love or rest. Chibuzo wrote the doctor's note with confusion. Please, love cannot cause sickness. But the doctor smiled knowingly. Madam, sometimes it does. A few days later, something surprising happened. Chibuzo was sitting at his small table checking messages on his old laptop when suddenly he froze. An email had arrived from Dora's old school in London. He opened it slowly, thinking maybe it was a mistake. But as he read, his eyes grew wide. The email read, Dear Mr. Chibuzo, we have reviewed Dora's records and academic performance before your family left London. She was one of our brightest students, and we've recently been informed about her situation. The school board has decided to offer her a full scholarship to return and continue her education here. Dora is an exceptional child. We cannot afford to lose such a brilliant asset. Kindly respond as soon as possible so we can begin arrangements. Yours sincerely, Headmistress, St. Mary's School, London. Chibuzo shouted, Clara. Clara. Come here quickly. She ran out from the kitchen wiping her hands. What is it? The price of rice reduced. He turned the laptop to her. Come and see this email. She squinted at the screen, reading each line slowly. Wait, you mean they want Dora back on scholarship? Chibuzo's voice was filled with joy. Yes, a full scholarship. They even called her a brilliant asset. Clara's mouth fell open, but unlike her husband, her heart wasn't singing with joy, it was screaming with fear. She immediately ran to Inki. Evil advice finds willing ears in desperate hearts. Clara found Inki near the water pump. Inki, can you imagine? They want my daughter back in London on scholarship. Inki's face showed fake surprise. Oh. And from what I'm seeing, your husband will soon follow. Clara's face fell. What do you mean? Inki smiled wickedly. My sister, don't agree. If she goes, your husband will soon follow. You know now they are like A and B. You'll be left here like a widow with wrapper and mosquito coil. God forbid. Clara exclaimed. Inki leaned closer. You need to act fast, and the right time is now. We need to deal with Dora so she will not go back to London. Clara's voice dropped to a whisper. But how do we do that? Inki's smile grew wider and more sinister. Don't worry. I have a plan. 2 days before Dora's flight, Chibuzo was busy like a father in a TV commercial. He bought Dora new dresses, soft socks, a small perfume that smelled like flowers, and a fine hair ribbon. He even took her to a small salon and asked the hairdresser to make a neat ponytail. He wanted Dora to look proud and happy when she left for London. Clara watched from the doorway, hands trembling, face pale with anger. She had not bought a single thing for Dora. Jealousy and fear filled her heart completely. She thought, if Dora goes, my husband will be gone. They'll both be happy without me. Inki called Clara aside like a secret partner in a crime movie. They spoke quietly near the water pump. See, Inki whispered, we carry Dora far into the bush path. Tie her there for a short time. Tell her a terrible story so she'll be afraid to go to London. Make her hate your husband. Then she will stay. Clara's face went from red to pale to hard. How would that help? Inki explained, if she is afraid, she will not go. She will blame him. She will be against him. Clara thought for a moment. She wanted her husband's love all to herself. The jealousy had completely consumed her reason. So she quickly agreed to the wicked plan, not knowing it would destroy everything. One moment of madness can destroy a lifetime. Later that day, Inki prepared food and secretly put a small sleeping pill into Dora's meal so the girl would sleep. Then, with Clara's help, they gently put the sleeping Dora into a bag and tied the top like it was just a heavy market bag. Clara carried the bag to the bush path behind the compound where cassava leaves made a small hiding place. When Clara set the bag down and opened it to lay Dora on the ground, Inki appeared with a strange bag of her own. She whispered, I forgot something that will frighten her very well. She handed Clara the bag and said, do not open it now. I will go and fetch one more thing. Inki ran back home, leaving Clara standing there with a pounding heart. Clara looked at Dora sleeping on the ground. For a moment, something inside her softened. She felt a crack of guilt, but she pushed it away. Everywhere was quiet until Inki broke it with her dramatic performance. She came running to the compound barefoot, wrapper flying, her wig shifted to one side like it was tired of her lies. Sir Chibuzo, she screamed, panting like someone who just finished a marathon of gossip. Your wife is doing something terrible. I begged her. I said, Clara, stop, but she dragged my head and started fighting me. People rushed out of their rooms. Mama Mukuro, the pure water seller, came out holding her bucket like a shield. Sir, I tried my best, Inki continued. She carried a gun. The old compound gasped like one person. Jesus. Somebody call the police. Chibuzo jumped up. Where is she? Where is my wife and child? Inki started pointing left and right like a broken compass before finally shouting, Sir, this way. The bush path. Please hurry before she does something terrible. Chibuzo didn't wait to hear another word. He started running so fast his slippers flew off behind him. He didn't even notice. Some neighbors followed, running after him like it was a community marathon. Mama Mukuro joined, shouting, if anything happens to that little girl, I will personally tie this Clara to a tree. Lies collapsed under the weight of truth. When they reached the bush path, Clara stood there holding Dora, who was half awake. Chibuzo shouted, Clara, what are you doing? Clara turned slowly, startled, it is not what you think. I did not, shut up your mouth. Mama Mukuro, with her face carved by years of small fights, came closer and took the bag gently from Clara. Inside the bag, wrapped in a small scarf, lay a small metal gun. Inki stepped forward quickly. See. I told you people. This woman is dangerous. I told you she would do something terrible. She wants to shoot her child. Clara's voice broke. No. It was you, Inki. You told me to do it. You came up with this plan. You said this would make Dora hate her father. It was your idea. I know I was angry. I was wrong. But you gave me the bag. Me. Inki lifted her hands high like someone who had just been accused of stealing the sun. Oh, madam, you're a big liar. I begged you, madam. In fact, I cried. I told you don't do this. But you fought me. How can I come with a weapon? Everybody knows me. I talk, but I don't fight. At that moment, a hush fell. Chibuzo stepped forward. His face looked older than before. His beard trembled as he spoke. You know, Clara, how I left London with hope. I sent money. I trusted people. I trusted my own blood. I even trusted you with money. Because of you, I lost my name. I lost respect. I lost my home there. I almost lost my freedom. His voice cracked with emotion. You brought trouble. We were sent home with nothing. That was pain. I wanted to rebuild. I sent money to my brothers for a house. They used it. I remember I cried in my room at night and I prayed. I tried to be strong for you and for Dora. And then this child, my little girl, became all my joy. She's bright. She's kind. She doesn't know anything about papers and money. She only knows love. But you, he continued, tears now streaming down his face, you hated her for being close to me. You turned a mother's care into angry hands. You let jealousy live in your heart more than love. You became angry with a child who simply loved her father. You looked at your own child and chose anger over mercy. I do not know if I can forget this, but just know you've broken everything we've shared. When everyone was still in confusion, a loud police siren broke through the air. Everyone jumped. Love lost can be love rebuilt, but some scars remain forever. The police officers arrived and assessed the situation. Clara was arrested and taken away despite her protest. As the police van drove off with flashing lights, Clara turned her head once to look at Chibuzo and Dora. Her face was full of regret. Chibuzo, she said softly, please take care of her. Chibuzo didn't speak. He just held Dora tighter as the van disappeared into the distance. The next day, Chibuzo moved about silently, preparing his daughter for her flight. Dora, still innocent and full of joy, didn't understand everything that happened. She only knew her mother wasn't around and Daddy's eyes looked tired. When he helped her wear a pretty white dress, she smiled and said, Daddy, will you miss me? Chibuzo smiled weakly, more than you know, my angel, but I am proud of you. Go and make Daddy proud in London. That morning, the whole compound came out to see them off. Safe journey, London returnee. Everyone laughed softly as Dora waved goodbye, holding her father's hand tightly. And just like that, she left for London. A month passed. The noise of number 90 returned, children fighting over slippers, the smell of beans everywhere. But Chibuzo hardly spoke to anyone. He received a call one night that changed everything. Clara was gone. She had slept and never woke up. Before she died, she had cried almost every night, calling her husband and daughter's names. Tell Chibuzo and Dora to forgive me, she would whisper to anyone who came near. Her heart, once full of anger, had finally broken in silence. Years later, time healed slowly like a wound that still leaves its scar. Chibuzo had moved out of number 90 compound. No more shared bathrooms or shouting landlady. He now lived in his own fine house painted cream and gold, with flowers in front and a big gate. He remarried a kind Calabar woman named Aima Abong who laughed easily and cooked like heaven was inside her kitchen. Together they had a baby boy named Davy. Life became peaceful again. Every December, Dora would fly in from London, now a registered nurse in her 20s, wearing neat uniforms and carrying gifts for everyone. The moment she saw her father, she would drop her bags and run to him, shouting Daddy. He would hold her tight and whisper, my baby girl, you are home. Their bond was still strong, even stronger than before. They would sit outside in the evening, telling stories, laughing about number 90 compound, and remembering Clara with forgiveness instead of anger. Dora never forgot her mother, but she understood that jealousy had consumed her. And Chibuzo, who had lost so much, had finally found peace in forgiveness and a new beginning. Jealousy destroys faster than fire. When you allow jealousy into your heart, it can blind you to love and make you lose everything that truly matters. Clara's jealousy didn't just damage her relationship, it cost her life. Be careful who advises you. Not every smiling friend wishes you well. Some advice sounds sweet but leads straight to destruction. Inki appeared as a friend but was actually Clara's worst enemy. Dear story lovers, if this tale of jealousy, betrayal, and ultimate redemption touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to our channel right now so you never miss another powerful story like this. We bring you real-life inspired tales that teach valuable lessons about love, family, relationships, and the consequences of our choices. Hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we drop our next captivating story. Whether you're here for the drama, the life lessons, or just great storytelling, we've got something for everyone. Like this video if Clara's story made you reflect on the dangers of jealousy, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Sometimes the best gift we can give is a story that opens eyes and changes perspectives. Comment below and tell us. Have you ever witnessed jealousy destroy a relationship? What would you have done in Chibuzo's position? Do you think Clara deserved forgiveness? Your thoughts and experiences matter to us, and they help build this amazing community of story lovers. Remember, jealousy is a poison that hurts the person who carries it most. Choose love over envy, peace over paranoia, and trust over suspicion. Life is too short to waste on emotions that destroy rather than build. We'll see you in the next story. Until then, take care of your loved ones, guard your heart against jealousy, and always remember, true love never dies, but jealousy always kills. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. God bless you all, and thank you for being part of our lovely story.